Welcome back to the Badass Reset Club. I'm your host, Heather Yancey, and today we are going to have a face smack chat about your body, specifically about your pants. So recently, I was having this conversation with a client that I've not been able to stop thinking about, hence this podcast episode. She came to me with some really specific goals. She's naturally thin, so this had nothing to do with weight loss or fat loss. She wanted to build muscle. She wanted to get stronger. And especially at this stage of life, she wanted to do everything that she could do to protect and improve her bone health. So that's what we did. We've been lifting. She's been getting stronger. And recently she said to me, "Oh, so my pants are starting to get a little more snug. If I'm getting fitter, shouldn't they be getting looser?" And I said, "No, in your case, this is exactly what we're trying to do. We're building your legs. We're building your glutes. We're putting muscle on your body." Now, obviously, your pants are not a DEXA scan. A tighter pair of pants by itself can't tell whether you've gained muscle or fat or put them in the dryer on high. But when we're progressively strength training, you're getting stronger, and we're intentionally trying to add that muscle to your glutes and to your legs. Taking up a little more space can be a very good thing. And her question made me realize, damn, women have been conditioned for decades to believe that fitter should always mean smaller waist, smaller thighs, smaller butt, smaller number on the scale, smaller clothing size. Apparently, like, our lifelong fitness goal was to slowly disappear. And I would like to officially call bullshit on that. The fitness message that women grew up with is tired. If you think about the messages we got: tone, lengthen, lean out, burn fat, get rid of your thighs, get rid of your belly, lose that last 10 pounds, and God forbid, don't get bulky while you're doing it. For years, women have been handed those cute little neoprene pink dumbbells and told to do 4,000 tricep kickbacks while standing on one foot on a Bosu. Meanwhile, the men are over there actually lifting weights. The message wasn't build a strong body. It was build a body that looks small. And there is a huge difference. How many of us have celebrated when a pair of jeans got looser? I'm guilty. How many of us have been excited when the scale dropped? I'm guilty. But how many women have been taught to celebrate, holy crap, my quads are getting bigger? Or look at my butt. Look what I'm building. Not enough of us. So I think we need a new metric, especially in midlife. Fitter does not mean smaller. I want this burned into our brains. Fitter does not automatically mean we're getting smaller. You can lose fat and build muscle. You can stay approximately the same body weight and completely change your body composition. And if your goal is to specifically build muscle, some parts of your body might actually get a little bigger. That's hypertrophy. That's the assignment. If we train your glutes to grow and they grow, we don't get angry because your jeans noticed. We say, all right, the plan's working. And I think that this is where we have to untangle fitness from weight loss, because they've become so connected in women's minds that we almost can't separate them. Exercise equals calorie burning. Working out equals shrinking. Eating well equals losing weight. But there are a million reasons to train that have absolutely nothing to do with becoming smaller. At 40, 50, 60, and beyond, those reasons become much more important. And this is why I want you to build the damn glutes. I want you to understand some really key factors in why we're actually building this, because your glutes and your quads, they're not just there to make your leggings look fabulous, although we don't complain about that benefit. We got to think about the important things, like, number one, muscle helps us protect the body we're going to live in for decades to come. We lose muscle and strength if we age and we're not actively doing something to maintain them. Resistance training is one of the most effective tools for fighting that decline. We've got research in older women that shows us resistance training improves strength, physical function, and can increase muscle size and lean mass depending on the program and the population. And this is why I keep talking about muscle as an investment. So you're not just training for today, you're training for way down the road. You're putting the muscle into a retirement account. And unlike my actual retirement account, I really enjoy making deposits to this one. Next, second, I want you to think about your glutes and your quads are there to help you do life. So think about everything that your strong legs help you do. Get off the floor, get out of a chair, climb the stairs, carry the groceries and carry multiple bags because that's trending, picking up your suitcases, hiking, running, traveling, playing with your grandkids, hopefully someday, getting on and off the toilet without needing a strategy meeting. I mean, that is fitness. And there's good reason that we care about lower body strength as we get older. We've got studies with strong associations between muscle strength, including your quads, your physical function, and your longevity. That doesn't mean big thighs magically make you immortal. It just means that strength matters enormously as we age. So when I see a strong set of quads on a midlife woman, I'm not thinking like, ooh, I wonder if her pants are tighter. I'm thinking, now that's some useful tissue. And number 3, your muscle and your bones, they're teammates. This is especially important for my client who cares about her bone density. That was one of her big goals. Bones respond to load, and resistance training gives us that skeleton adaptation. We've got research in postmenopausal women that shows that appropriately programmed resistance training can improve and help preserve bone mineral density at important sites, including lumbar spine, the hip, and the femoral neck. So when we squat, when we deadlift, when we lunge, when we do step ups, when we do heavy carries, we're not doing those things simply because someone on Instagram told us that's how we get a peach. We're creating a stronger system. Muscle pulls on the bone. Load travels through bone. We're giving the body the stimulus that says, hey, we still need this structure. It becomes a really different reason for picking up the weights. And number 4, muscle is metabolically useful. This is another reason I want women to build the muscle. Skeletal muscle is one of the body's major sites for glucose disposal, and it plays a major role in insulin sensitivity and blood sugar regulation. So translation, it's super useful real estate. Those quads, they aren't sitting there doing nothing. Your body is constantly interacting with that tissue. So instead of spending all of our energy, our precious energy, asking, how can I weigh 5 pounds less? Maybe another question is, how can I build and protect metabolically active tissue? I dare you to start thinking that way. It's a real different conversation. And so I do want to address, because I know somebody listening to this right now is probably thinking, all right, Heather, I don't want giant thighs. Fine. You don't have to want giant thighs. I'm not saying that everybody needs to walk around and look like they're about to compete in a bodybuilding show. What I am asking you to examine is why gaining visible muscle makes you nervous. Because building significant muscle doesn't happen because you accidentally picked up a 20-pound dumbbell 3 times. Women are not out there waking up after one leg day going, oh my gosh, what happened to my quads? Building muscle takes work. It takes progressive overload and consistency and more protein and ample recovery and a lot of time, which means if you've been intentionally working toward it and your legs start actually looking stronger, congratulations. You did something hard. The fit of your clothes, beautiful badass, is not a report card. That might be a great message for you to take from this episode. Your clothing size is not a medical test. It's not a fitness assessment. And it certainly isn't a character reference. Your genes have no idea what your VO2 max is. They don't know anything about your bone density. They don't know what you can deadlift. They don't know if you can hike up a mountain. They don't know anything about your blood pressure, your glucose, your resting heart rate, or how much weight you can carry upstairs. Their pants. Let's stop giving them an advanced degree. And yes, clothes can give us information about our bodies, but we get to decide what the information means. If you've gained unwanted body fat and your pants are getting tighter, that's information you might choose to act on. But if you've spent 6 months intentionally building a stronger lower body and your butt suddenly needs a little more real estate, just buy the next size. I promise the fashion police will not come. I want midlife women to start measuring differently. Instead of asking, am I smaller? Please start asking, am I stronger? Can I squat more than I could 6 months ago? Can I carry heavier dumbbells? Can I carry them longer? Can I get off the floor more easily? Can I hike farther than I did last year? Can I climb stairs without getting smoked? Am I building or maintaining muscle? Am I protecting my bones? Am I fueling myself enough to actually support the body that I'm asking to perform? Do I feel capable? That is fitness. And one of the biggest mindset resets we can make in midlife is moving away from how little can I become towards how capable can I become. That's the body I want women chasing. So you can think of it as the bigger glutes reframe. And I'm going to give you an assignment for this week. I want you to notice every time you automatically associate smaller with better. Smaller jeans, smaller thighs, smaller scale number, smaller appetite. Please start asking yourself, better for what? Because if my goal is to walk confidently into my 60s, 70s, and 80s, to keep traveling, to keep hiking, to keep lifting my suitcase above my head without some random guy named Gary asking if he can rescue me, to stay independent, to protect my bones, to remain strong enough to keep saying yes to things, then maybe smaller isn't the goal. Maybe stronger is. Maybe I want the quads. Maybe I want the glutes. Maybe I want the shoulders that fill out the sleeves of my shirt. Maybe taking up a little more physical space isn't something we need to apologize for. So back to my client and her snug pants. I high-fived her and I yelled, yes, we're building what you came here to build. And I hope the next generation of women doesn't have to spend half its life undoing the idea that fitness is measured by how effectively we can shrink ourselves. We can want to change our body composition. We can want to lose body fat. No shame. Nothing wrong with those goals. But that's not the only definition of getting fit. And at this point in my life, I want muscle. I want strong bones. I want powerful legs. I want a butt that can propel me up the mountain. And if that means I occasionally have to buy a different pair of jeans, I'm okay with that trade. So ladies, please continue to build the quads and the glutes and lift the damn weights, and maybe stop asking whether you're getting smaller. Start asking whether you're becoming stronger, more capable, and harder to knock down, because that sounds a whole lot more badass to me. Thanks for listening to this episode, baddie. And for the record, I don't care what your pant size is, and neither should you. Now let's go out there and let's go get them in the world.